In a small coastal town in Japan in 1956, people started getting very, very sick. It started with numbness in the hands and feet and advanced into difficulty walking and speaking. Before long, these symptoms deteriorated and became convulsions, coma, and more often than not, death. The strangest thing was that there was no obvious cause. People of all ages seemed to get it, and even the animals around the area were dying. Crows were dropping out of the sky, fish were washing up on the shore, and cats were dying at an alarming rate. The locals called it cat dancing disease after the way the animals moved just before they died. When researchers took a closer look at the people who were getting the disease, they found that the victims were usually based around the fishing areas of the city. They concluded it must have been food poisoning from the fish and shellfish that the families had almost every day. It took 3 years before they found the poison responsible. In 1959, they measured the amount of mercury, and the amount they found was absolutely shocking. In some parts of the bay, there was so much mercury in the sediment that you could actually probably make good money just by mining it. The reason these levels were so high was that a chemical plant had been dumping chemicals into the ocean for 60 years with absolutely no regulations. There were 2,265 recognized victims, and a staggering 1,784 died. That's only a 20% survival rate. I know what you're probably thinking now. What does this have to do with me? Sure, this was a terrible accident, but I don't live next to a chemical plant, so my fish isn't really going to be poisoned. Well, you might be a little bit worried to find out that all the fish you eat will probably have mercury in it too, thanks to a process called biomagnification. The thing about mercury is that it's very easy to absorb, but very difficult to get rid of. That's what makes it so dangerous. There's a very small amount of it just floating around in the ocean at very safe levels, and so algae and underwater plants absorb it over time. But still, it's only at these tiny levels. Fish and other sea creatures eat this algae, and I'm sure you know the rest of the food chain. The problem is that as mercury is so hard to get rid of, every plant you eat has its whole lifetime worth of mercury stored up. Then, every plant-eating fish has the collective buildup of every plant it has ever eaten. Now you might understand where the term biomagnification comes from. Every level up on the food chain increases or magnifies the amount of poison in an animal. The biggest, oldest animals on the absolute top of the food chain can have dangerous amounts of chemicals like mercury in them, and that answers our question of why we don't eat great whites. Or really any other apex predator, like marlin or swordfish. Oh, and also great whites are endangered, so it's illegal, I guess. But don't be worried, as long as you aren't eating tuna every single day, this should never affect you, so you can keep eating fish a few times a week. So biomagnification ties together a mystery disease, a chemical plant, and the great white shark. Let me know what topic you want to see next, but until then, I will see you in the next one.